Hi, my name's Hannah. Let's see, I've been coming over here to Epona to get my horse's feet done since 2017. We started out with my quarter horse, Soul, who had just such bad contracted heels.
Yeah,
he had some
yeah.
major hoof issues that Monique and her team have really helped us with over the years. And then my next horse that we've been working on is Valiente, who's a PRE, and he came to me with chronic tendon issues on multiple limbs. And Monique really, he'd never had shoes on before. So Monique really helped dictate the trim because he used to have really thin soles. And we've offered him all the support that he needs to get through his tendon rehab. And he was actually able to go on, and he was in 2023 the USDF Amateur Horse of the Year. So that was pretty exciting. He won regional championships, and we've experienced a lot of success with the Epona shoes.
Yeah. And I think, again, this is why I'm not, quote, a shoe salesman, because you can have absolutely incredible shoes, but if the trimming is not correct, and if the rider also doesn't take good care of the horses, I don't care how well you trim or you put shoe placement, blah, blah, etc., the horse will go lame. And what I found really amazing with Hannah, and this is why I sponsor her, because she can take horses that were thrown away, like Soul, and I've seen picture of he bucking and doing all sorts of stuff. I was like quite impressive. Very athletic racing quarter horse.
Yeah.
And then
We took him all the way through intermediate one.
yeah, intermediate
He
one.
was
Yeah,
schooling the Grand Prix right before he
yeah.
died.
Well, he had melanoma, so what? It's not lameness that killed him. He had internal melanoma, and that did him in at the age of 19, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah.
And then you found Valiente, and Valiente came with problem. I mean, they told you you would have to trank him when you
Pretty
shoe
much
him
doing anything with
anything,
him. Yeah.
and you managed to turn him around. Unfortunately, Valiente has eye issue.
Yeah, he's got the poor guy.
Yeah, no.
He's got a laundry list of problems that we've been dealing with. He's got recurring uveitis primarily in his left eye, and then kind of due to that, he's developed cataracts in both eyes. So now he's got vision problems, and that's as we've just found out. We've done some body work on him today. His eye problems have affected his whole body and compensation patterns and how he loads his limbs.
Yeah, but I think, again, what makes you remarkable, you can take horse. A lot of people who have quitted on that, just the fact, the rehab. And I know I was there when you rehab this horse, and I think it took you a year till you could actually do anything really competitively with him.
I think it was a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't want to take a chance like that. And it's interesting because I have horses that were also throwaway. So I am part of, because there's a derogatory thing about me. I'm because I don't have time to show. So I have only rehab horses. No, you can train them to be really good riding horses. In my case, no time to show, but they work.
Yeah.
And I think what I find, and that's why I like to help you. I mean, because I like when people recycle horses and find solution, and you have the, from finding the shoeing, from finding having Tammy doing helping you do your exercise with the physiotherapy, from finding the right vet, everything, you've done everything that you can do to keep a horse together. And I think there are many horses around, if you spend the time, that will give you what you need. But I don't think when you started, especially with Valiente, I remember you saying, well, if it can only be a trail horse, I'm okay with that. A lot of people will not be okay with that.
Yeah.
And he gave you more. And it's the same thing with my horses. I say, well, if just walk and trot, I'm okay with that. And then I have too many now I have to ride. That's why I have plenty of people helping me, like Darren and Suzanne, because it's a lot of horses to ride. But my initial thing, I'm okay if they can't give me what I want. And that's what makes you remarkable, because I think a lot of people don't think that way.
Okay. Yeah, so the rehabbing horses it's really a labor of love. When I did Valiente's first rehab, it took me a year and a half before I could even do first level work with him again. And I remember my discussions with the vet the whole time was, I don't care how long this takes. I want a sound horse at the end. So we went slow. We went really slow with him. and he needed it. And we paid attention to his nutrition and all the other places in his body where he needed some help. And he went on to compete fourth level. And we were getting ready to go up to pre St. George when he had another little mishap. So we're back in rehab mode now.
Yeah, I think you will be okay. I think you're also struggling with a little problem with showing that goggles on horses, which the FAI doesn't allow. Could you expand on that? Because I think it's kind of a dumb rule as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, there's actually been a little headway, not so much with USEF, who has to approve it for the dressage horses. USEF does approve it for jumping horses and for race horses, but not for dressage horses. So basically, Valiente's got to wear sunglasses to protect his eyes from the uveitis. And starting in 2023, we were no longer able to do rated competitions because of his eyes and his vision. But just recently, the U.S. Working Equitation Group, they've decided that goggles are okay. So we might be switching disciplines here when we get going again, so that we might be able to get back out there and do what we love.
Right. Well, I think this is really important, but I think it's a shame that you can not, I mean, the dressage. I think those glasses are okay. And I think the point is, if the horse moves very nice, who cares whether he's wearing glasses or not? But that's my opinion. So, but I think, I really, really admire you because you have a physical disability, which is, not a little thing because you are diabetic. And I've seen you also going up and down yes. and having you change pump actually. And I've seen you when this was not working, that send you a few times to the hospital, which is pretty bad. And you managed to go to competition, do everything, and take on horses that are not perfect. And I wish people would actually, if you love horses so much, and I think this is an amazing skill and gift to actually make a horse better, Absolutely. and I don't think horses owe us anything. It's not. So, but if you get, this is the icing on the cake that actually you can compete against a horse. And I think it's great. And I really admire that. That's why we like you.
Thank you.